Okay. Okay. Yes. That's doing that. Let me switch to the right YouTube account. I just got home, so if you're hearing me, give me 1 second. Okay. Hi, Adrian, Littleine, Omar, and I don't know who Dragonfire is. So, Zohib is dead. So what you're saying is that's how he's at home now, the same way as in class. Understood. Got it. Okay. All right. Let's get down to. That's not the right unit. All right. So we're doing 7A and 7B. Let's do this really quick. 7A is basically those notes, the 5 things we went over in class today. You have notes on. We've done. I really think you guys should be good, but. I'm sorry, 7. This is the chart. 7A is going to be the chart. So you know how we did the chart where I had you do the national executive, then the state legislative, state executive, and so on. The national legislative and state legislative. So basically, you're going to need to identify. I might ask you, for instance, who's the national executive? You would say president. Who's the state executive? Governor. The job doesn't change, guys. It's just who's doing it. So that would be obviously in this case it would be uh, the governor for state executive. I'm trying to get up my PowerPoint for you guys so I can show you that as well. I just like I said, I just got home, so I apologize. I didn't have everything ready. Give me 1 second. I have 2 monitors in case you're wondering why you can't see what I'm doing. Whoops. Oh my God. Um, the the thing cut out on me. All right. All right. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Sorry about that. My video card was updating and is still updating, so if it cuts out, now you guys know why. I don't think that shows up on stream. That's weird. Like I literally have it up on my screen. Oh, there it is. Wow, that's really delayed. All right. I don't know who awarded it is or many cookies, but hi. All right. So I do have GeForce. Makes doing everything super, super easy. I'm getting down. I'm still downloading. I have to download the PowerPoint from my online files. So give me some more second, so I can just do 7A with you guys. All right. So this is basically 7A. Well, hold on. I took out judicial, but whatever. It'll work for this. So I might ask you who to identify as the national legislative. So you just look at this chart. And see, national legislative would be Congress. I might ask you who the state executive is. State executive is governor. You might have to identify, for instance, which of the three state what are the three state executive officers, or which one doesn't belong, something along those lines. Oh, hey, Aiden. Um, and local's not going to be on the test, so don't worry about this part down here, okay? Um, but these are 4 boxes. Now, there's a missing branch, obviously judicial. National, the highest court is Supreme Court. State, the highest court is Virginia Supreme Court. So really all you got to know for this version of the test, uh, there's some really dumb questions on there that I think are super common sense. Like, if I list off a bunch of courts, like Circuit Court, General District Court, Court of Appeals, Supreme Court, what branch are they in? Judicial. If you have a problem, an argument, or a dispute with someone, where are you going to go? Courts. I think those are like the only questions that we might have on there that are talking about judicial. Um, so really, like I said, you just have to be able to identify these things. I would just study this. You know, I can tell you, I can point it out, but literally here's a chart in front of you what to study. Um, you can see they're listing it. They're just listing it here. That's why we do the chart, because it's much easier to understand. All right, so you can see literally they're listing everything up here again. All right, so I feel like 7A is also the test where people make dumb mistakes. Like, I'm going to ask you, what tells the Virginia government what it can and cannot do? And so everybody's going to go, Mr. Wood said to always guess the Constitution, which is true. But in this case, it's the Virginia Constitution. And so what's going to happen is people will read the first answer, they'll see Constitution, but they won't see the letters U.S. in front of it. So for Virginia, it's the Virginia Constitution. For our country, it's the U.S. Constitution. We still have legislative, executive, and a judicial branch. Here's all the courts again. I'm not going to ask you to know the details of the courts because we're going to have a whole nother test about that. One other thing, though, that I would say I could have done a little bit better about is this one. So we've talked a little bit about federal powers. Like this is going down to 7B, by the way. They have the power to, like national government, they can tax, or not, I don't want to say tax. They can make money, coin money. They can declare a war. They're the ones who do all the foreign policy dealing with other countries. Whereas state governments, they can do public schools. They're the ones kind of making sure, like traffic laws, dealing with more of our local everyday problems. They both can do this. So the fancy version of saying shared is concurrent. For our test, I believe all we require is shared powers. But just so you know, concurrent is the official title. It's just literally replace this word with shared. That's all it is. They both can tax. They both can borrow. They can both make laws about crime, and so on and so on. Then there's powers that no one get, like states can't make money. They can't enter into treaties, and so on. This just means that there are certain things nobody can do. Hey, Izzy. Federalism. Federalism is the division of power between national and state governments. Like right there is the definition. I feel like it's still not close enough for you guys. Obviously, these are the answers to your study guide too, by the way. Parents, if you're in the background, they had a study guide. Sorry, I'm on so late. I was there at the SLC stuff. So next thing, if the national government doesn't get it, they are reserved for the states. So anytime you see the word reserved, what's up, Wasil? Reserved is talking about state governments. It's also the 10th Amendment, essentially. So this is the 10th Amendment we talked about in class. So here's the 5 things. Again, we did this in class. Federal government is supreme. Remember we watched that video about the wolves, how Idaho didn't want the wolves, and the national government's like, that's cute, but you're still going to get the wolves because national government is supreme. They're going to have the final say. Powers not given are reserved to the states. There's denied powers, meaning nobody gets them. There's shared powers or concurrent powers. There's outline. The one thing it doesn't talk about on here that I want to mention is if you ever see the words expressed, implied, or enumerated. The level of government it's talking about is national. If you see the word reserved, it's talking about states. So just keep that in mind. And then primary responsibilities. This is at the bottom of that page that we did for the study guide. National government is going to conduct foreign policy. That's other country stuff. Commerce, and that's trade. And they're worried about the common defense. Whereas state governments can be more worried about public health, safety, and education, and welfare. Welfare is like our well-being. And basically, tensions is saying like people get upset with each other when the federal government mandates this is order. So just replace it this way. The state and national government get all angsty and upset with each other when the federal government orders states to do something when they don't give them enough money to do it. So essentially, it's like saying like, go buy me something from the store. It costs $5, and the states go, I only have $1, and the national government's like, that's nice. Go buy it anyways. So you can imagine state government's not going to appreciate that. So these are the primary responsibilities of each level of government. This is what they are primarily looking at. I am highlighting it and saying it slowly for no reason whatsoever. Hint, 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 hint. So as I said, I just got home. I really think for this test, there's that page I gave you that says 5 facts. That's what you got to study. For this one, I would... Where'd my chart go? Anyways, I would go back into the video. I can just download it again, I guess. I would basically look at this chart. I don't know why I hit refresh. I meant to make it bigger. I would look at this chart for the other ones, and you just kind of got to be able to identify things where they go. Remember that the job doesn't change. So the executive branch's job is to enforce laws. So the president enforces national laws. The governor enforces state laws. Legislative Congress makes national laws. General Assembly makes state laws. Bicameral. Bicameral. Just don't overthink it. It's a lot of common sense stuff. You guys got any questions for me before I go? You hear the baby? Yes, he is crying. You know what that means? It means go hug your mom, go hug your dad, go hug whoever your caregiver is, because this is what they had to put up with. And I understand all their pain now. Who's on here? Oh, it's me. Could Congress make an amendment so they can claim any denied power? So that's an interesting concept. They can make a law. States are the ones, if you remember, who ratify amendments. So Congress could propose it, but states would have to be the one giving them the power. So no, Congress couldn't just straight up make an amendment to the Constitution. They can make a law, but again, there's other ways of getting around that. States can always do a state convention and then ratify it through 3/4 of the states anyways. This stuff, 7C and D, is not on this test, Adrian. I told you all you don't have to do this page. We're gonna do it. This is ridiculously easy. This stuff right here. If you don't get 100 on it, I don't know what to tell you. Like and I'll explain to you why. But we'll worry about that next after tomorrow. Any other questions? Yep, I am a dad now. All right, any last questions? Oh, it's super stressful. All right, guys. Have a good night. Get some sleep. All that good stuff. Um, Josh, I believe on one test there's like 12 and the other one there's like 10. So it's pretty much the usual amount. Honestly, Josh, there is one really hard. I'll tell you this too. In my opinion, there's multiple questions that are like, I don't know how you could miss them if you paid any attention in class. Like they are just redundantly easy. And then there is one really hard question where if you miss it, it's an SOL question that we got from the SOLs. If you miss it, I can understand. It's a hard question. I would have to take my time and read it. So, all right, later. It's a hard question. It's I usually the because I can see the percentages of how many people get it right. I would say the percentage is usually about 40 to 50%. So it's a hard question. All right, later.